Hi 607 and 608. Today's learning target is I can calculate the area of two-dimensional polygons. Remember, two-dimensional polygons means flat shapes. Our objective for today is I can calculate the area of a trapezoid using the formula. So we're looking at a new shape today, the trapezoid.
Hey guys, we're going to look at some quadrilaterals. So the word quad here is colored in a little funky to make it jump out a bit. The word quad means four. So a quadrilateral is a shape with four sides. So some examples that we've already calculated the area of is a rectangle. We do that by multiplying the length times the width. Side squared for a square. Remember, all the sides are equal, so you just need one measurement and you're going to multiply it by itself. And then for a parallelogram, we did the base times the height. So there are some characteristics of each. All three of these have two sets of parallel sides. So parallel means that they run in line with one another and they never touch. So all three of these shapes have two sets of them. The rectangle across and up and down, cross, up and down, and even though these are slanted, they're still parallel to each other. A rectangle and a parallelogram each have two sets of equal sides, and that these two are equal, these two are equal. In a rectangle, these two are equal, these two are equal. In a square, it has four perfectly equal sides. So that makes a square a little bit different than the other two. Here we have these perfect corners. In a square, we have these perfect corners. Here we don't have these perfect corners. So the new shape that we're looking at today is a trapezoid. A trapezoid only has one set of parallel sides. It's still considered a quadrilateral because it has four sides, but only the bases are parallel to each other. It does not have a rule about having equal sides, and it does not have a rule about having 90-degree angles. So the way in which we would calculate the area of a trapezoid is we are going to add the bases together, which are the parallel sides. We're going to put that in parentheses because we want to add it first and then multiply that sum by the height and then divide our answer by 2. So here's the base, and it's 1, 2, 3 units. So this base is 3. This bottom piece is also a base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this base is equal to 7. So the other piece we need here is the height. Remember, when we measure our height, we want to be straight up and down, straight up and down. Shoulders back, we're standing straight. So we're going to draw a perfectly straight line through this shape. And this would be our height, and it's 1, 2, 3 units. So now we're going to substitute in what we know. The height is equal to 3. The base 1 is 3. Base 2 is 7. And all of that divided by 2. So now if I'm following order of operations, I want to do 3 plus 7, which is 10. Multiplied by 3, divide by 2. Now I'm going to do 3 times 10, which is 30. Divide by 2, and 30 divided by 2 gives me 15 units squared. So the area of this trapezoid is 15 units squared. Let's look at this trapezoid. So once again, the only set of parallel sides is the top and the bottom here, and then it has 2 legs. So we have to figure out our height, our base 1, and our base 2. This happens to have a 90-degree angle, which a trapezoid can have a 90-degree angle. It's just not a guarantee, like a square or a rectangle is guaranteed to have it. So this, because it's straight up and down, can work as our height. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 units high. Here's one of the bases. And it's 1, 2, 3. So this base is equal to 3. And here's another base, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're going to substitute in what we know. So our height, which is 4, needs to be multiplied by the sum of our bases, which is 3 and 5. And then that whole thing is going to be divided by 2. So first we're going to do the parentheses, which is adding 3 and 5, which is 8. So now it's 4 times 8 divided by 2. Now I'm going to do 4 times 8, which is 32 divided by 2. And then 32 divided by 2 would be 16. So 16 units squared, because area is always labeled as units squared. All right, let us know if you guys have any questions.
Something important to remember is please don't confuse the legs of the trapezoid. The legs are here in this example. Please don't confuse them with the base. And the way to tell the base from the legs is that the 2 bases of the trapezoid are always parallel, which means they run as 2 straight lines that are never going to crisscross. If these legs continued up, eventually they would crisscross because they're at these different angles. These 2 bases are running parallel to one another. So here in this first example of a trapezoid, we have our formula, height times the sum of base 1 and base 2 divided by 2. So our first step is to substitute in. So 4 is the height. It's a straight up and down line through the trapezoid. So we plugged in the height outside of the parentheses. Then we have our 2 bases. So here's base 1 and here's base 2. And I know that these are the bases because they run parallel to one another. They're 2 straight lines that don't intersect. So we have base 1, we have base 2, and now we're evaluating this using the order of operations. So our first step is what's inside the parentheses, which is 8 times 12, which gave us 20. And we rewrite what we have left. So we still have times 4, and we still have divide by 2. Now we're going to do 4 times 20, which is 80, divided by 2. 80 divided by 2 is 40, and we label area as units squared. Remember, when you're typing on the Google Forms, you can use the caret and 2.